Well, this is going to be a laugh. How's my volume relative to yours? I can adjust it. You sure? Because I don't want to be louder than you are on the broadcast. Okay. Obviously, you lead the way. Yes. But I can be to an extent. Let's see how my Porsche setup translates to a...
Alright, sorry everyone for that. I don't know if it's coming through. Yeah, I'm coming through. That's coming through. Yeah, that's all good. I just had to set the grid there. But here we are for stint 2 of the split one. So what I'll do is I'll go in here. Oh, can't go there. Alright, so the grid's set. We're ready to go for this another 2-hour stint. So, unfortunately, we didn't have anyone to jump into the number 22. So, thankfully, Mr. Adam Weller has jumped into the 22 for the Robo Sport Camp, and he's also joining me in the commentary box. How are you, my friend?
Yes. Well, I haven't driven this Toyota in a long time.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm
pretty sure more.
You are lagging a little tiny bit. But that's all good. So I'm gonna try and stream, talk to you, and eat dinner at the same time.
Well, I'm gonna be driving and streaming, so I feel no sympathy.
Yeah.
I don't think Jono realises we're meant to be double file. Oh no, we're meant to be single file.
Yeah, single file. Single file.
Yeah, thanks for not pointing that out.
So, Points is in control of this field here. So whenever he goes, everyone else can go. So he's got to hold it at 100 Ks. He's in at 110, which is not too bad. But we've got everyone back there. And off he goes. Points takes charge of this with Jono Stan very closely behind, followed by Diswood and then Adam Weller himself. Then we've got Sir Slayer in 5th, Broccoli in 6th, Brandosa in 7th, and Nismo rounding out the rear of the LMP field. But
and this struggling for grip there at the hairpin, he's been swallowed.
Is that 1 point? Oh yes.
Just didn't quite get the turn in on the cold tyres, and that's cost him already.
That's cost him, and he's dropped down to 3rd place. But as we know, he did have a bit of a buffer there to the 96 of Captain Risky, where Spud left him. But at the moment, Jono Stan is out in front in this long 1 hour 58 race left to go. So I wonder, will he be able to pull that back? We both know that Jono Stan and Points are very fast, but we also have Diswood in here as well. So what can he bring that number 16 CP Motorsports Porsche 999 hybrid to play? But we'll just wait and see. But off the start there, it looks like everyone's sitting pretty well here. We've got Viper's Ed. He's jumped to the front of jumped into 2nd place in the GT class. So Norm did leave that Viper a little bit far behind in the pack, which is obviously unfortunate there for Viper, but he's come off to a great start here. And Wyzek has dropped down to 11th. Duram to 12th, Budsy to 13th, Blue Boss to 14th, and Bud DeRoses to 15th. So not too bad of a start here, but it's a nice start here from It's Racing in the number 95. He doesn't really need to be careful in that car under cold tyres. Takes about 3 laps or so for that car to come up to temperature. So we'll just wait and see what he's got in store for this. But as we jump back to the front, Jono Stan is coming under attack from Diswood, but I will go mute for a minute or so while I eat a bit of food, as I was just racing for 2 hours and I am very hungry. So we'll keep an eye on this battle pack in the front.
Top 3 through the S-Bends at the moment. Punt's looking eager to make his way past. Can confirm, incidentally, from my cockpit that my guesswork Toyota said red line's a bit too early on the long long back straight. But otherwise, not too bad. My rally crossing might be an issue.
Because you do get swamped there by Broccoli, Sir Slayer and Brandosa, so maybe that TS50 needed a little bit of a tune there, unfortunately, but someone's dropped it back
I
here.
tried to tune it, but
Yeah,
the fun thing now is that I'm chasing Broccoli, who is in the car that I was just in for 2 hours. So, you know, a bit conflicted.
Yeah, you get them when they're like that, but no, it's good to see drivers helping out other teams and obviously helping out the number 22. So that's obviously in the fight with the number 1 for the championship at the moment. But yeah,
I'm
unfortunately,
in the title battle. I didn't know that. Oh, good.
yes.
Oh, good. Excellent. Just the person they needed in the car.
Well, if I wasn't streaming, I would have probably said I'll jump in the car, but unfortunately I got to stream and I had to eat as well, so it kind of gave me a best of both worlds.
I point out that it's breakfast time here. I'm not getting my breakfast.
We need to get Neil to get you some breakfast for you.
Too early to be bringing up Neil. Wait till I'm not in a pack, then we'll talk about Neil.
Yeah, but early marks here, and Jono's really putting that Toyota TS50 to the ground, and he's making a little bit of a margin here. He's got 1 second to Diswood, and then Punz has got half a second back from Diswood, and then there's a little bit of a buffer there back to Sir Slayer, Broccoli, yourself, and you're coming under threat to Brandosa too. So how?
Yes, I think I've kind of gone. I was in the wrong direction in the Porsche. I had too much aero. In this, I don't quite have enough. Guesswork setups are not the ideal, as it turns out.
I should have sent you a quick setup. But apologies for that. Oh, Broccoli gets a little bit loose on the grass there. We'll see if we can catch that on a bit of a replay. Oh, and he cops really big damage there.
A little bit of contact between us, but I don't think it sent him.
No, he ran a little bit wide there on the grass. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of fendering before that.
See if we can.
My end.
Nah, he put one wheel on the grass and just simply spun it around. So, fortunately, caught Jemden damage there. So we'll see what Broccoli can bring back with this Porsche. So we know that Broccoli is fast in his obviously young self. So, but I wonder if this will play out strategy-wise. I'm not too sure. Obviously, it did burn 7 minutes, but that's another thing that's going to come into play really with everyone here. But at the moment, Wings Racing runs a little bit wide there, so does Viper Z. So Viper Z is currently hunting down about a 2.5 minute gap over the 95 to get the outright win. So at the moment, It's Racing is in a really nice spot to take the GT Championship at the moment here. So it's not quite locked up as we speak, because it is under threat from the number 18 Porsche from CP Motorsport. So it's not exactly out of the wind yet for the 95. So they've been battling all season. Obviously, myself, I pulled out of the PLE car. Obviously, had some drama and stuff like that. But we go from the laps here. So It's Racing done a 328.9. Viper Z did a 328.3. 328.8, 329.3. So they're all about roughly on the same times. See how you're going down here at 6.
Yes, I had a bit of a gravelly moment. Brando's through, but to be honest with you, even though I'm in a championship fight, I'm never going to be around with Diswood, Punz, Jono. I think the objective here is to just have engine damage less than I did in the first race.
Yeah, I did see you have a couple of offs, but yeah, at the
Yes,
moment.
I was fine for the first hour and a half.
Yep.
We won't talk about the last half hour. Interesting. I started this race with this being top 3 least favourite tracks in Gran Turismo. An hour in, it was out of the bottom 5. At the end of that first race, it was firmly back in the bottom 3.
Yeah, that's all good, mate. That's racing. You get them on the big jobs, but no, you did a pretty solid job there, jumping in for the EBM car there. So now it's in the hands of Brock Lilly, so we'll wait and see what he can do with this. But the grass didn't agree with myself either, so I did have a couple of big moments there in the Aston. So I did run off once or twice, and then I did obviously cop damage, but Jono Stans sets a 258 flat, and then Woodsy sets a 257.6, so we'll wait and see. So he's used a little bit more fuel than what Jono has. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Obviously the fuel economy and all that goes in.
Now that I have no imminent company on the circuit, I can start to play with fuel maps and stuff like that. Could be useful.
As we get some more people jumping in chat. So we got Pat in there saying yes bot to some bot messages. And we got Robbo saying good luck Adam and Nismo. So you got some good luck there from the boss.
Apologies in advance. So who is the teammate to Devlin?
That will be Sir Slayer. At the moment. Yeah.
Right.
When the season did start, he did have his teammate in Scarlett, and then he had some health issues come up, and he had to pull out. So.
Right. Okay. So
yeah.
I remember Scarlett. I remember the all Belgian crew. So makes sense.
Sir Slayer with a bit of flash of the headlights there coming through the corner, but yeah, no, it all started to spread out a little bit here. As we jump back to the GT classes, It's Racing's under threat really heavily from Viper Z there. Viper Z is really on the fuel save here. So I wonder what It's Racing's got. So he's fuel saving too. So I wonder how far these guys are going to get on their fuel saving, because we do know that the Aston Martin, being the V12, it does chew a lot more fuel than what the I believe it's a V10 in the Ferrari possibly.
Nope, V8 4.5 litre.
Okay, yeah, so it's a V8, but the V8 compared to the V12 in fuel usage is pretty bad, pretty harsh with the Aston, but we've got a pretty solid tune in it at the moment for that. But
chat, if the audio levels aren't quite right between myself and DJ, if I'm either too quiet or too loud, you can let me know. Although DJ will have to read it to me.
I'll adjust it on my end, because I can adjust the
oh, you can.
the audio levels in Streamlabs. Yeah. So not too great of a start there from Puntz, obviously dropping back to third, but he still hasn't dropped out of yet. He's got about a 2.3 second gap to John, but depends on who's going for what stint. Are they going to go for the 1 stint, or are they going to go for the 2 stint? That's the big question.
Did people do ones in Proto in the first races?
No.
I thought that was pretty much impossible.
I don't know. I don't know if it would be possible or not. I suppose it probably depends on the time loss.
I was babying the car for the first half hour, Porsche, and it didn't didn't seem to give me enough fuel save. I was about 4 minutes short of getting to the hour when I decided to just give up and drive normally. I'm sure someone, I mean, I know that Points tends to be very good at fuel save, so it might be possible.
Yeah, so does
marginal.
Wood. This Wood is very he's very good on fuel saving too. So
So is my car leading the points, or is it second?
I think it's tied, maybe.
Oh, good.
You're for. Oh, the CP car is actually overtaken you. So you guys were actually tied going into round 5. So they were on the exact same points, but then obviously the RSR car had a bit of a rough time and ended up dropping out. I believe Lurox dropped out. Oh, Woodsy gets real rough there with Jono. I'll try and catch an onboard here. So the car that's actually racing the number 47 at the moment, the number 1 is number 16 in second place. So it's a battle of these two cars on how far they can pull away from points in the number 1 to who can get the outright. So obviously I didn't really pay much attention to what the time difference was because I was too busy trying to keep mine out of the wall. But
Spud will provide some intel at some point.
he's also racing, my
Spud
friend.
thing.
Yeah, he's in split 2, so.
Right. So much for that bright idea then.
Otherwise he'd be in the com box.
True.
Yeah.
I'm in the com box.
You are in the com box, and I appreciate you being in the com box.
So where do you stand on Saint Croix as a circuit, DJ?
I really like St. Croix.
Really?
Yeah, I do really like it. Alright, so Jono has to be 37.7 seconds in front of Points to get the win, and Woodsy has to be 1 minute and 42 in front of Points to get the win. So it's looks like it might be a bit of a long shot for the number 16, but hey, anything's possible with this. Obviously, no safety cars or anything like that. So one little mistake and that can really put Points out of the race, or Woodsy or the 96. So Budsy's down here in 13th place, so he's put in about a 3 minutes 30. He's keeping it on the track. Look like he's doing a little bit of fuel saving there, so he's not doing too bad. He's putting in the solid laps. He's 7 seconds behind Wiseacre. I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th place at the moment. But depending on obviously finishing order and stuff like that, will come into play with that. So he was 9 seconds. Diego was 9 seconds in front, behind the 47. So wait and see how that goes. But at the moment, looks like It's Racing's here, leading the GT class at the moment with Viper Z behind him. But his fuel usage is a little bit more than that Ferrari. So I wonder if he will get the 40 minutes out of that Aston, because he's got 18 out of it at the moment, and he's nearly on half a tank.
Yeah, he'll need to be a bit more conservative in the next 20, I think, if he wants to get that.
He is also under threat of Viper too, so that's also hard to fuel save and not make a mistake and defend him too. So.
Oh, absolutely. It's a bit of a juggling swords situation, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. But my full faith is in Jarman in the 95, so we'll wait and see what happens there. But Viper's doing what I did in the first stint. I just sat behind Pat in the 47 and just pushed him along and chugged each other along. And I think I saved about 4 laps, maybe nearly 5 laps worth of fuel because of it. So it was pretty good on my behalf until I put in the wall after my pit stop.
Well, just for the assurance of Robbo more than anyone, I'm going quicker now than I was at this stage of the race on my first stint, so don't feel shortchanged because I'm in here. I'm actually doing better than I was earlier on. As usual, when I'm in the commentary box, I seem to go quicker.
Just natural,
Also,
mate.
Toyota's a better car.
Oh, I think Woodsy will second guess that one.
True.
Ooh,
I mean, they have strengths and weaknesses.
5 laps in and they're already starting to lap the GT field. So they've already lapped Roses, Blue Boss as well, and they're coming up to the back. Oh, they've just passed Budsy, so that might have been a bit of a rough pass there.
Yeah, it surprised me actually earlier on just how quickly we caught the GTs on a 3-minute circuit. I was expecting a little more time before I had to worry about the traffic. Then when I did have to worry about the traffic, I came across yourself, Mr. Woodsy, and Coming For You, all in quite a battle early on.
Yeah, because I was behind Coming For You, and then Woodsy was a little bit further back, and then obviously Coming For You ran out of fuel.
Oh, did he? Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
he ran out of fuel in the first stint, so he was trying to get me to go past him. As Diswood then now goes to the lead of the race, but he runs a little. Oh, that was really close to running off there into the grass. But we do know that the Porsche is a little bit rougher on the battery than the Toyota is. It's a lot harder to regen.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. You find yourself without battery quite a lot in that car.
Oh, they're really coming up to the back of the GT class here at a really awkward part of the track. Oh, really nice work there by both the GT and the LMP guys to get past that. So that's really nice job there. And it looks like the Porsche doesn't actually use as much battery as quick as what the Toyota does.
Yes, it has fewer megajoules than the Toyota, if memory serves me correctly. I think it might be 8 megajoules on the Toyota. 6 on the Porsche, maybe? It's been a long time since I've had to think about that. But yeah, the battery is less potent in the Porsche. I'm in amongst the GTs now, just coming up on Blue Bloss.
What's he doing there?
Deario me, that was on me really. Wasn't expecting him to be in the middle.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate there, but I guess that's a bit of a muchness there. He could have seen it coming and just kind of took a little bit more evasive action. Obviously, it's pretty easy to get past on a wide track, but when you're coming up to that part of the circuit, it's pretty hard. But I think, granted that Blue Boss is a little bit far back behind Budsy, it would have just been easier there just to let you go past, as he puts the grass on the sand there and hits the wall again. So that's definitely that front splitter coming into play there. So a bit unfortunate there for Blue Boss, but that's mixed class racing for you. But we'll
Okay, note to self, Budsy tries very hard to stay out of the way. I was expecting to drive around him and he left the apex for me. Wasn't expecting it, but it's greatly appreciated.
yeah, he is a very very courteous driver, and he's very aware, which is very good. So.
Yeah. It's one of the more difficult things from the prototype perspective, is I think everyone kind of has a different philosophy in the GTs. There are some people who stick to their line and expect it to go around them, which realistically is kind of, that's the unwritten, well, it is actually a written rule of the real world.
Yeah, well, it is a written rule in our driver's briefing that the GT keeps the line,
Yes.
and then the prototype makes its way around the GT. So, but I think it just depends on the driver, really. Like you probably noticed when you were coming up to myself, I did kind of try and get rid of you as quickly as I could. So, but
Well, it's situational as well. It's kind of subjective based on where you are on track and
yeah,
all
definitely.
of that good stuff.
But it looks like you have a bit of damage there. Did you pick that up when you did hit the back of?
I didn't hit him on my screen.
Okay.
No, that was the long sweeper just now.
Okay.
Yes, I am going to persevere.
So Slayer comes in, or he's got damage too. So he's pitted for damage.
I will not follow suit.
Jump back here. Yeah, so it looks like Viper's really going for that long stint there. He's used nearly just over half a tank. It's 25 minutes gone, so he might. I wonder if he's gonna maybe make a one stop. I don't think it's ultimately humanly possible. Not with those tyres either. But nice evasive action there from you.
Split them. Didn't want to do it. Needs must. The outside of it. Hybrid, very handy in the traffic.
Definitely. Obviously that front
Always in.
splitter not helping either, but did pretty well to get past here at the moment.
Doesn't feel too bad, to be honest. But probably end up pitting a bit earlier than I had intended.
He's sitting nice there in 5th place, so it's doing pretty well.
I mean, Slayer, unless Slayer has a few more moments, one would expect him to get back past.
Broccoli, oh, they just went 3 wide onto the bridge. That was very, very eager there. That was a very rough spot to come up onto the Porsche Duran. So yeah, that was really, really tight there. I'm actually surprised that Duran is racing in this stint, because he said he likes the 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock stint, because then he can go to bed and he's up early for work. So this race won't finish till 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. our time. So that's very, very surprising that he's racing in this stint. But maybe it worked out a bit well for Diego. But it's not too bad here as Slayer and Brocco come up towards the front of the GT class, which is still being led by It's Racing in the 95. So he's looking not too bad. He might be going for a 3-stop here. It looks like Viper will also need to go for a 3-stop. Duran in the Porsche, Weizsäcker in the Porsche. Budsy's using a lot of fuel there too. Roses. Oh yeah, Blue Bloss is pitted, fixed his damage, so he's back out on the track, 36 seconds behind. But we jump back to the front, and we got Jono Stan still under pressure from Diswood in that 16 of the CP Motorsports. But they're now 9.5 seconds in front of Punts, so we'll try and compare the times here. Yeah, so Punts is putting in 2:59s. And Diswood and Jono are putting in 2:57, 2:56s, so he's about 2 seconds off the pace, which I wonder how will come into play.
Potential drama for Sir Slayer, who's back in the pits for the second time in as many laps.
Yeah, he's got a bit of an aero there, so he looks like he might have either bumped someone or bumped a wall somewhere. But he's jumped in and he hasn't topped up. He's just taken a new fresh set of boots and fixed the damage. So he's now dropped back down into 7th, and now he's under threat from Nismo. Yeah, so usually Nismo's doing this, so it looks like we're playing a bit of swapped roles.
Say when we were talking earlier on about your feelings on St. Croix, as I said earlier, not really a track I'm a fan of. I prefer the version that turns right at the beginning of the lap.
Yep, that's B. St. Croix B, yeah, and then St. Croix A turns right down the end here. So St. Croix A will turn right just here.
Yeah.
But B. Yeah, B uses this section of the format, and then kind of about 800 meters down this straight, it takes another right-hand bend. So.
Indeed, yeah, I like that version. But this one obviously has its charms and its length and width make things interesting. You could spin that innuendo 8 different ways.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So.
I'll tell you.
Woodsy's made a pass here on Jono, and he's also done the fastest lap with a 56.1, so he's making some moves here. Really trying to
Punt in.
Punt is in. Oh, he's got front splitter damage here, so we'll try and see if we can catch that. Nah, he's been in the pits.
That doesn't surprise me. I also, looking at his fuel, I don't think he was fuel saving at all on this stint.
It looks like he was. He was fuel saving compared to the other guys.
Okay, well maybe not much anyway.
I saw 76 on my screen, so maybe it was less on yours.
Oh, 33 on mine.
Okay. Yeah, that was a bit.
Relative to the 38 in my car. Broccolilly in for the second time in the race as well.
He's also got damage. Very interesting here with all these incidents happening here with damage. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But it looks like Jono has saved a little bit more fuel than what Woodsy has. Which has also elevated Brandosa up into 3rd place, but that's only by 20 seconds, so he will lose that when he comes in for a stop. But with that, then I wonder, will Points extend this stint to make it a 2-stop, but a relatively splash and dash for his last stint.
He certainly wouldn't have got to the air 1 stop anyway, but it'll be interesting to see just how long this middle stint proves to be. Absolutely, he won't be doing more than 2, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely, because you'll lose about nearly a minute and a half doing that, so that's pretty much half a lap, so that's a lot of time there that you probably don't really want to lose in the grand scheme of things.
Speaking of losing time, for an illustration, just how badly wrong I got the Porsche centre earlier. This Toyota, with damage on it, is only 2 miles an hour slower at the end of the back straight than my Porsche was without damage. Go me.
That's alright. especially going in without a setup. So it's kind of a bit of a throw it in there, throw it in there and give her a
setup
send.
on this car. It's just pure guesswork.
Yeah.
Based largely on what I remember the Toyota driving like about a year ago. This is
So everyone's pretty solid there, but so we jump back to the GT class. We've got It's Racing out in front. Looks like he might be needing to pit in the next kind of lap or so, and then Viper's not too far behind, so he's just chilling in there, saving fuel. So he's got a quarter of a tank, so he's gonna obviously short stop that that last stint, but it just depends on how much. So obviously it really shows the difference between the V12 and the V8 in the Ferrari compared to the Vantage, but it's very nasty on fuel. That is, yeah. So you can see he's lifting and coasting into that corner down there at the end of the straight. So.
there's 1.5 litres of capacity between those two engines, a 4.5 versus 6 litre. So effectively you've got a top-end Fiesta engine extra in the Aston.
Yeah, definitely, but you've also got the extra 4 cylinders too, which make a big difference. It's actually surprising because the Ferrari is actually pretty low on power compared to what the Aston is, but it is a little bit heavier to try and BOP it out. But as everyone, I'm not, if you are new around here, we do have the in-game BOP is It's Racing jumps into the pits with 4 litres left of fuel, so we'll 35 minutes gone, so it looks like he'll be doing the 3-stop here to get to the end of this. And apparently Mazepin has tested positive to COVID and will not race. That isn't a joke.
That's quite...
That is coming for you, so I don't know if he's a load of crap or if he's not.
Too early to be messing with us.
Yeah.
Too late for you, I suppose. Too early for me. Yes, and per the rules of the sport, no one would be able to fill that role, even though they have a reserve driver.
Yeah, Mazepin to miss F1 finale after positive COVID test.
Lily closing in on me back on the back straight. Fresh boots, etc. on the car after a stop.
He's doing about 13 kilometers more than you, obviously, but that was in a slipstream. But I wonder if that's where your slightly shorter gearing will come into play.
Oh yeah, no, I'm definitely losing a fair bit top end there. Good old guesswork setup. Rocco back in the hit. Despises this corner.
That is also my least favourite corner on the track. That corner there, so that's actually where it caught me off guard, and I did hit the wall. So I ran a little bit too wide off line there and slightly drifted out into the wall. But it was luckily because it kind of worked out. Because I took pretty much just used that to my advantage, and then I came out and fuel saved for a little bit. Worked out really well. But we'll jump back to the front here, and Woodsy's got a 6-second lead here over Jono Stan. So I wonder. Oh, Woodsy's put in a 2:55.8, so he's really flying. Woodsy is very quick in that Porsche there. So this is going to come into very interesting play at the end of this with an hour and 20 minutes to go. But give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, because it's very cold in my house. I need to go and shut the back door.
You switch to me, I can talk through what's happening between me and Brocco. If he's done that or not, but Brock all over the back of me here in this twisty first section. He's yet to try and make a move. He's kind of on me. I'm not confident enough to be twiddling around with fuel maps and the like. Might not be doing my fuel consumption any favours. More important, I keep the car out the barriers. Make sure I don't end up in them.
We've got Jono Stan jumping in, and we do have Captain Risky and Spud jumping in. So it looks like Spud's doing a bit of racing and chatting in the chat. So good to see everyone here. We've got Risky saying he's right, Haas are fielding one car. Yeah, I did read that. I just read that on Speed Cafe. And then we got Bjorn's Balls Undies as well. We got Sheena as well saying go Nismo. So he's Sheena Nismo's down here in 6th place. So he's still yet to make his first stop, but he's doing pretty well at the moment. Yeah, it was a bit like that as well for us, Risky. So it was with only a 15-minute session. When I zoomed out in front, I did have to kind of dodge the stragglers of the LMP car. So it was a bit rough. I only had really kind of two laps to qualify, but obviously I don't know what it's like in the LMP with you guys, but yeah, it was very hard trying to dodge you guys with quality too. But the race wasn't too bad. I hope I didn't really get in the way of you all during the race, but I guess that's multi-class racing for you. Just towards the wall, but Woodsy goes faster again with a 255.3, so he's really trying to get as much as he can out of that Porsche. So he's got that thing tuned in really, really nicely in the number 16 CP. So Jono Stan is also 10 seconds in front of Punts, who they both have pitted, but Punts has used a little bit more fuel, obviously, because he did pit a little bit earlier. No real issues in the race. Yeah, that's good to hear. We don't like having many issues. We try and have as least issues as we can, but Woodsy jumps in for his first stop here, so he's got six litres worth of fuel left. He's really using those front tyres in that Porsche. I wonder where this will pop him out. So if I'm correct, it should pop him out just in front of Jono.
Interesting.
Oh, he runs really. Oh, he did. He got damaged there. Oh, just as I flicked back to him. He hits
that last corner.
No, the sweeping right there. He got on the grass and ended up spinning it around, which is very, very unfortunate there. So if I was John, I would really pit in there. Oh, he runs really wide on that last corner there. That was very, very unfortunate there for Jono in the 96. But with that, then that puts Diswood out there with a 24-second lead over Punts with an hour and 16 minutes to go in this race.
Interesting to consider what that does to the overall 4 hour as well.
Yeah, so it will be very interesting there. But we jump back here to the lead. So Viper's Ed's actually overtaken its racing. So he's using a lot more fuel than what Viper is. But at the moment, Viper's really got to put his head down and get as much time out of that Ferrari as he can, because he was about 2 minutes down in the first stint. So I will jump back and see what the timing's like at the moment. But until then, here's Mo jumping into the pits, taking his first pit stop of the race. So he's done a pretty nice 43 minute stint there. So he's done really nice getting as much out of there, but he has lost a lot. He's lost 1 minute and 47 seconds doing that. So I wonder if it's you play the game here of, do you save fuel or do you just send it as much as you can?
I think it's a balancing act, really. You want to make sure that you're comfortable on 2 stops. But there's no point trying to stretch to 1, as we've already seen. No one's able to do that here today. There's certainly a balance. I was a little bit too conservative on fuel in the Porsche in the first stint. I had about 1/4 of a tank left at the end, but intriguing just how accurately or otherwise people run things towards the end of the race in particular.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely an interesting one come to the end of it, as we get Sirik jumping in chat. So welcome, my friend. But it's, everyone started to do their pit stops, and Weizsäcker has actually jumped the CP car coming to that last lot of pit stops there. So really nice job there by Weizsäcker. Budsy here looks like he's had to pit on lap 10 and lap 11. So unfortunate there for Budsy. It looks like he might have had a bit of a mistake there, but the Aston is very hard to get a grip of around this track if you're not really familiar with it as such. Viper Rose is in 14th, so he's actually jumped in front of Blue Boss. But all the GT cars are on very much different fuel strategies, which is very interesting to see.
Definitely one of the more compelling elements of GT racing, the sheer difference in terms of things like engine capacity, fuel consumption, handling, etc., which is why the BOP is such a delicate balancing act.
Looks like he has had 2 pit stops in here, so he's done a 3:56, which is a bit unfortunate there. But we'll jump back to the front. He's got a 24.8 second lead over the number 1 of Points. So Points doesn't seem to be fuel saving much here in the chase down of Dis Wood. But in the midst of the pit stops, Jono Stan's actually dropped back into 4th place. So Brandosa has jumped up into 3rd, but we'll wait and see how that plays out. Obviously, with the first stint with Aussie Colpart in that car, so he's putting in a pretty solid stint here in the Porsche at the moment.
Of course, Jono had his damage as well, so that is a skewing factor.
Yeah, exactly. He's obviously had to fix that damage too, but it'll be interesting to see regarding kind of pit stop wise, because Jono and Woodsy are on exactly the same amount of fuel, but he's obviously he's 54 seconds behind Woodsy, so he's about a 1/4 of a lap behind.
Brandosa, his car was about 20 seconds behind the 477 at the end of stint 1. Meanwhile, the car now driven by Sir Slayer was a further minute ahead, so He can be a minute 20 clear of Sir Slayer, and about 20 seconds clear of Broccolilli. He can make up 2 positions from the 7th place the car was in at the beginning.
Well, at the moment,
Sir Slayer looks like he might be having some issues here.
he's got engine damage. So
That might be the case.
yeah, it looks like he hit the wall there. Obviously, couldn't catch it on the replay. That's in a really rough spot there to get engine damage, and that's half a lap there. He's got to carry that around, so that's very unfortunate there. But what's happened here? Oh, Viper and It's Racing are really going at it as It's Racing makes a move there on Viper, so that's pretty critical for It's there.
As I was just explaining, so Slayer really needs to be within a minute and 20 seconds of Brandosa to hold on to the 5th place the car had at the beginning of this race.
Yeah, at the moment he's
this damage.
So at the moment Brandosa is about 40 or 43 seconds in front of Broccolilli.
Okay, so he is ahead of Broccolilli then. The car is ahead of Broccolilli's now by about 20 seconds.
And he's got
Sir Slayer will be at risk of losing 5th place with this engine damage to Brandosa for good measure.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a bit of an unfortunate one there, getting damaged, but no safety cars or anything in that. We just play on, and you obviously just got to try and do your best. But I wonder how this plays into his pit stop strategy, because at an hour and 9 minutes to go, it's in a really weird spot as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Viper Z and Wiseacre look like they're having a decent battle, hoping not to impede at all.
Viper's really got his hands full with that Ferrari there.
Absolutely.
But pre to this, Wiseacre was having a lot of troubles with that Porsche under brake, so he felt like it was really unstable, as if the rear end would really want to kind of flick out on him. But it looks like he's kind of got that under control at the moment. But I'm surprised on the fuel usage of the Porsche, to be honest, because that it's usually been pretty good with that.
It's interesting. Obviously in non-tuning lobbies, that car benefits from having quite long gearing. Less of a factor when we can change the gear ratios and such. Quite unique among Group 3 in that it's actually a GTE spec car, whereas most of the others are GT3 machines. Of course, all balanced the same by polyphony anyhow, but intriguing spec difference.
Yeah, it would be nice to have GTE on here, because obviously they've got GTE on iRacing, but they do have it on Project Cars, I believe. I did play.
There might be a greater there was GTE cars in Project Cars, correct? There will also be at least one more GTE car in GT7, the Ford GT Le Mans car from 2017 has been confirmed for GT7, so
yeah,
there's one more added to the ranks.
We've got Pat in here saying how Bud's going. He's just keeping on. He's putting in some pretty consistent 330s, 332, 334. He did have to pit twice, it looks like on lap 10 and 11. Which is a bit unfortunate there, but he's about a minute behind Duran in 12th place, and then they're 7 seconds behind Viper Z. But Wiseacre has actually overtaken Viper Z for 2nd place in the GT class. So as it stands at the moment, that's because Viper actually has damage. Looks like he might have picked that up around the back section somewhere. So it's really unfortunate there for Viper to get that damage, but that really plays out into the hands of It's Racing in the 95. So I'll try and get the. We got Spud chilling in 7th place after getting damage on lap 2 at the moment. Oh no, he's talking about Budsy, my bad. Yeah, no, he's chilling in 7th. Or he's Spud, I don't know, he's chilling in 7th place, but Budsy's in 4th, I think. 2, 3, 5th. Budsy's in 5th place at the moment in the GT class, which is pretty nice, solid work in there. It's really hard to kind of gauge with like 1st, 2nd, 3rd in class, considering they're like 9th, 10th, 11th on the screen. So it's a bit of an interesting one. As we jump back to the front here, we've got Diswood out in front with a 26.5 second lead over Punce there, but Punce has done a 2:57.3, so I think he's slowly starting to find a little bit more speed out of that TS50 there.
Certainly putting up a valiant effort in the Porsche. 919 with a 4-cylinder motor relative to the V8 in this TS050.
Wiseacre's got a bit of damage there. Not really sure what happened here, so something's happened with Wiseacre and he's got a bit of front splitter damage. And he's currently under threat by Duran there, so this will really come into play when he has to pit for this damage, because in the GT class you do lose a lot of time when you do have some sort of splitter damage.
Yeah, absolutely. So the question there is, does Wiseacre's damage match up with Viper's in such a way that maybe there was contact?
Maybe, possibly. I don't think I spotted Wiseacre, because usually when he gets damage he does pit, but he obviously went past the pit, so he might have got it later, because he might have say run wide somewhere or one another. But yeah. Viper's only 7 seconds behind Wiseacre, so I wonder how that played out. So, but how does this play out with stints as well? So Viper's chucked on he's put in a full tank of fuel when he did pit back on lap 12.
I think what it does for stints realistically is put the hammer down, because you're not going to get to the end of the race from that position in a GT car. So it's effectively going to be 31.5 minute stints. Less fuel save, more go, I imagine, is probably the short answer.
Yeah, certainly, but the Aston at pretty much full pace gets roughly about 31 minutes or so. So it's might play into the hands here of It's Racing, who's out in front. So he's got a 12-second lead over Duran at the moment, but he was about a minute or so behind, if I do remember correctly. So the CP Porsche was only about 26 seconds behind the 95 of me, so he's currently got 13 seconds to make up, but by the looks of it he's really losing a bit of time there. But Brandosa comes in for pit, he's got damage too. This front splitter damage is really playing part in these LMP cars, which is very surprising at the moment.
And if you had to place your bets on where it was happening, it'd be that second last corner, because that's just the easiest place. 5 or 6k too much apex speed, and you tap that barrier, and it doesn't tend to forgive.
Exactly, and that's obviously what happened to myself, and Woodsy happened as well. So it was very unfortunate there. But in the plays of this, Woodsy was 7 seconds behind the CP car. So where does this play out in the hands? So Wyzek is 6 seconds behind Duram at the moment. So he's got to make up that 6 plus put another 6 on top of that. So with an hour and 1 minutes to go, it's going to get very interesting towards the end here, and you can't really put any money on who you think might take this, because it's going to be a very up and down end to this race. But at the moment, the number 95 sits pretty solidly in first place, so he's just driving around, putting in some solid laps, and it looks like he's gone for a 3-stop here. So he's got an hour to go, and he's got just over a quarter of a tank. But where does this put Viper? So he's 7 seconds behind Duram. So he's actually overtaken Wyzeka here. Has Wyzeka got damage? He does. Wyzeka's got more damage.
Going from bad to worse then.
Yeah, so he's really struggling with that Porsche. So he's got front splitter.
Car.
It is a very nice car to drive though, if you can, as what do they say, if you can tame the beast.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cars that's very sensitive to setup. If you've got it hooked up, it's great. If you're 5mm wrong way on front suspension or something like that, sometimes you know about it.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we don't have that in the Porsche Cup, but we jump back to the front here. Ooh, that was really lucky there from Slayer. So Woodsy started to lap the back of the LMP class at the moment. So yeah, that was a lapping on Sir Slayer. So he started to lap the last car in the pack, and then he's got 25 seconds up the road. You've got Nismo. So Woodsy's putting in some paces here, and he's really making Punts work for that second place at the moment. So Woodsy's about half a second faster than what Punts is. So it's going to definitely bring in a good ending with Jono, who's 27 seconds back from Punts. Because we're just over halfway through this lovely 4 hour of St. Croix for the last round of the Enduro Series. We have Diswood in the 16 out in first place, currently setting his paces and making other people really work for that. We do know how strong of a driver Woodsy really is, and he's really got this Porsche 919 really turned up. And we've got Punts in second, 29 seconds back, and then Jono Stan a further 27 back, and then we've got Brandosa in fourth place, Broccolilli in fifth, and then we've got Sir Adam Weller himself, who was also in the commentary box, really manhandling the absolute crap out of that Toyota TS50 coming up to the back of the GT class here. And then
I'm glad you pointed that out. I hadn't realised that was about to happen.
It's alright, give you a bit of a heads up. And then we've got Nismo down here in 7th place, and then Sir Slayer at the back of the LMP, which is unfortunate there, but Devlin actually did a really nice job in the first stint in this car, so he did. Oh, what is this? Viper Z! DC, that's really unfortunate there. For Viper Z. That's
a massive shame for Viper.
That really is.
Does that have championship implications as well?
No, unfortunately it doesn't. but it would be really rough if it did. Blue Bloss nicely getting out of the way there of one of the LMP cars, but now that escalates obviously Budsy, Roses and Blue Boss, so that moves them up into upper place. But that's obviously unfortunate. Therefore, Vipers are dropping out.
Massively so, especially over halfway through the race. It's almost better if it happens in the first 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, definitely. But I guess that's internet troubles for you that you can't really help there.
Yeah, exactly. The ever-present X Factor.
Woodsy's still. Woodsy's really putting us under his paces here, but yeah, as we got Pat in the chat here, so that escalates Budsy up, so you might be able to put in some solid laps and just obviously have the luck of that come your way. So that was obviously lucky there for him. Sorry about that, I've got a million things going on at once. My parents are giving me ice creams and I'm commentating this and getting messages from people. And
You keep flexing the food, don't you?
Okay, Viper quit. He forgot the F2 was on, so he's quit to go and watch the Formula 2.
Wow. I mean, I admire his honesty.
But just remember, Adam, it is 8:16 in the night over here, so it's coming on towards dinner dessert, which is what I've got. I've got a chocolate coated ice cream.
I've been up all night and I've been driving for 3 hours. I have no sympathy for you.
Well, if I didn't have to eat dinner, we would have played role reversal and you'd be streaming and then I'd be driving.
Yeah. It's a weird situation that I've put myself in here, following Broccolilli in the car I was driving 2 hours ago. At the moment, I'm set to keep him down a position.
You're gaining a bit of time on him there, so he's. Oh, you've gone a PB sector there.
So he's been about 18 seconds ahead of me for the last few laps. I think he had quite a good first sector there, gained a few tenths on me. But yeah, I'm not fuel saving as much this time around because I learned in the Porsche that I was doing too much of it, and this Toyota seems to be a little bit better.
Yeah.
Fuel anyway.
Looks like he's going to need to pit in the next couple of laps. I wonder if he's going to try and make that his only his last pit stop there. Oh, he's on the back of Isaac here, so he'll definitely make a bit more time up. Oh, what's happened here? Jono Stan's left the room as well, so I think he's going to watch the F2.
Oh, that Piastri, eh? Is Jono in a championship position?
No, the BCG and the Jono and Captain Risky entry also joined at the same time at Laguna Seca.
Priorities aren't as skewed then, that's good.
Yeah. Woodsy's got a 32-second lead over points, so he'll definitely be trying to make that minute and something back on points. But Woods is starting to really get his head around this car, and he's starting to put in 257s. So Woods has got a bit more on fuel, so Woodsy's trying to make that longer run. We all know how good Woodsy is with fuel saving, so that will definitely come into play here.
Regards fuel saving, there's no reason that Broccolilli shouldn't be able to make it on one pit stop so long as he saves appropriately in the Porsche. I think at the absolute apex of fuel saving without losing ridiculous amounts of time, he could maybe do 55 minutes, so he should be okay.
Yeah. So I had a half minute of ice cream and it nearly went everywhere. But,
There you go. Not the only commentator I know who needs a bid.
no, I said it nearly went everywhere. It didn't go everywhere. It's all over my fingers though.
I know a furry creature that would help you with the sticky finger problem.
Would that little furry creature be black?
Yes, cattish.
would he happen to be the mascot of Trackstars?
Guilty.
Guilty as charged, Mr. Neil, being the Trackstars mascot of the Trackstars group. So
I believe he is currently asleep on top of my motorsport bookcase in the next room.
lovely.
It's racing in the pits with just 1 litre of fuel, 49 minutes. He's going to have to do a splash and dash. Broccolilli in as well.
Yeah, 49 minutes seems to be a very long way to get in the Aston. I don't think that'll be possible, to be honest.
Absolutely not. Rocco should be able to get to the end if he's careful. See, I still have a pit stop to do.
So he fueled up. He's got a full tank, fresh set of boots on, and then now he's hunting you down. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, currently opening that gap a little bit more. So it seems that the Toyota is definitely a little bit stronger in the corners than what the Porsche is, but they kind of weigh up differently down the straight, I think.
That's interesting because obviously the Porsche, as I had it, as I was explaining earlier on, I had an XS Vero, much better in the corners than this Toyota. But setups are also a big factor. And of course, even though he does have fresh boots on, the tyre deg is minimal here. And I have a lighter car at the moment.
Yeah, you are putting a little bit of time on him, so
It will only be minimal. We've been about even for quite a while, and my tyres are just suboptimal now, so
we'll replay that line, eh?
oh, thank you.
We'll watch that line that you just took through this long sweeper. Grind a bit of the wall on the left. Grind a bit.
I didn't grind on my screen.
On the replay it had it grinding, but nothing like a bit of grinding on the wall before there. But yeah, you missed a bit of the apex coming through there.
Yes, internet latency then, because I didn't touch the wall on my screen.
Yeah.
What I did do was go fast in slow out, which of course is exactly what you're meant to do at corners.
Yeah, fast in, slow out.
Absolutely.
Can't guarantee that it'll get you very far, but Woodsy's really putting in the paces here at the moment. So he's doing 255s, 256s, but Punts has just gone PB last lap with a 256.7, but he's about due for another pit stop, but Woodsy will be due as well, about 1 or 2 laps after. So Woodsy's just gone into the red. So assuming that Punts will need to pit at the end of this lap. I'm not too sure what the rough amount of fuel that he is at the moment, but it's definitely in the red stuff. But Brandosa's got he's in between half and 3/4, so it'll be definitely a very
I'd be
weird one.
surprised if Punts gets one more lap out of the car. We'll see.
White the Rose is really getting on the grass there. He's got the cancer. Not too sure what the green cancer symbols are. I know that white is male for prostate, pink is breast cancer, but Roses, my friend, you ain't gonna get anywhere swerving left and right. But look, it's the thought that
He's
counts.
waving at you. He did that to me as well. Past him earlier. Didn't distract me the slightest. Punts in.
Where does this leave Woodsy? So Woodsy's going around the back of the track. But he's really got that Porsche turned in. That it looks really stable. Oh, he's gone a purple sector there too. So he might be in this lap, I'd assume. He's definitely wearing those front tyres out in the Porsche, which is pretty surprising. Brando does that too. So the Porsche must be a very front wheelbase dominant car compared to the Toyota, or that might be just a setup thing.
In general, the Porsche seems a little bit more kind of understeery, and doesn't surprise me that the fronts would go quicker on that car.
Yep.
Toyota is a bit more finely balanced on that front.
Yep. So it looks like It's Racing kind of slightly short-filled this, because he probably obviously knows that he's got another stop to go, but that's obviously put Jerem in the lead of the GT class, but he's 10 seconds in front of It's Racing, but he still does have another pit stop to go. So I wonder if he'll be able to be able to make it to the end on that stop. Wait and see. But as it stands at the moment, the 95 will be taking the Enduro Championship win. So that was a combined effort of obviously It's Racing himself, and for the first part of the season actually Justin 930. So he was in the car originally, and then he actually sold his rig, so he couldn't race anymore. And then I had a bit of a mishap with my team with drivers and stuff like that. So then me and It's Racing thought, oh well, why not? I'm coming to your team next year. We'll just jump in the Aston and finish the last 2 rounds off. So I choked a little bit regarding strategy-wise at Spa, but that was a good old Aston and the fuel. So I took one extra stop that I kind of didn't really want to have, but kind of do what you can. But Woodsy in the pits.
Woodsy in. Yeah.
So he'll
Time that nicely. Just 1 litre left in the tank.
So he'll definitely fill this up and aim to go to the end. But where does this put points when he comes out? So it's going to be very interesting, as we know that he's got to make up about a minute or so, I believe. Yep. So he's got to make 1 minute and 42 to points. So he's currently 1 minute and 11. So he's got to make up 30 seconds in this last stint to take the outright win. He's got to make up 31 seconds, which I think could be a bit of a tough one, but Woodsy's definitely got to proper send absolutely everything he's got in his Porsche to get the outright win. He's made that 1 minute 14. Oh, Punts has had a spin. Punts has engine damage. What has happened here? See,
Where has that happened? That must be quite early in the lap.
No, it's down the back. It's the second last corner. Everyone's favourite corner. He's gone in there really hot. Engine damage, and that's really played into the hands of the number 16 there. That's really unfortunate for Punts. So
It was going to be interesting anyway, given Punts pitted before Woodsy, whether Punts would have to fuel save a bit more, but obviously that's all academic now with that moment.
yeah, so Punts puts on some fresh fixes the damage there. By the looks of it, it's about 1 minute and 11 behind from my screen, but I don't know if that's exactly correct. It is correct. It's 1 minute and 11 at the moment as it stands. So he's got to make 30 seconds up in this last stint, Woodsy does. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. Because I've really seen that time just really jump there, which is very surprising. But I know Woodsy really likes his track as well. Me and Woodsy did have a couple of good battles here in part 1, so that was good to see. This one puts another lap down on the Aston Martin in the 95. So Duran looks like he's really stretching that tank as much as he can. Got Nismo here. He'll be having to make another stop as well. So Slayer, he's got about half a tank. I'm not too sure how far half a tank's going to get him, if he will get him 40 minutes. So that'll obviously be one to see, but
He'll get to about 15 minutes, I think, with that, if he runs it right. I'm on an in-lap, incidentally.
Oh, he's got a penalty here. Broccolilli's copped a penalty for some sort of short corner cut somewhere. He got half a second penalty, so he'll have to burn that one. But Slayer got a half a second penalty as well, so he'll have to burn that one. So Nismo jumps into the pits for what looks to be his last stop of the race. Oh, he does have damage as well, so these LMP cars are really getting a lot of damage. Get to them. Oh, Duran jumps into the pits too. So this will be his last stop, so he's currently getting fueled up. And his racing passes him to take back the lead of the GT class. Half a tank remaining, 38 minutes to go.
Bitterly disappointed. I'm a second up on myself. Would be my first 2:58 of the day, and I've got to pit this lap. It's taken me 3.5 hours. I've started to figure the track out now.
Yeah, no. Once you get used to the track, it's really nice. Oh yeah, you are into the 58s. You're into your 0.8.
I was a second up at the last split, but look at that, 0.3 lap of fuel remaining, so I'm gonna have to abandon. Let's see where I come out relative to Slayer.
Look at Slayer. So he hasn't even hit the back straight yet.
Yeah,
news. And then we'll see where Broccolilli is.
Car refuels.
Broccolilli here will overtake you for 4th in LMP.
To be expected.
So So this gap between Diswood and Punts is currently at 1:12, so 36 minutes remaining, and Diswood has to put 30 seconds on Punts, which I don't know will be possible at the moment.
Certainly be a feat if it's done.
It's racing, pleasing all this. So 35 minutes to go. I think he might go just under the 30-second. Sorry, he'll go to about the 20-minute mark or so, like that, and then he'll end up pitting in. So do the splash and dash. So obviously he hasn't got the threat of any car really behind him at the moment, except for the CP Porsche. But the Porsche does have 28-second gap, and he's full. He's fueled to go to the end. But he's running a little bit slower than what the 95 is. So the 95 is doing about 328s, and the Porsche is doing 330s. So he was doing 28s before he did come into the pit. So they're running about roughly on par with each other. So definitely be an interesting one coming near the end of the race.
Yeah, I think they'll probably come out, if things stay as they are, within 5 or 10 seconds of each other.
Definitely.
The last few minutes.
Your 6 gears a little bit short there, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Braking zone.
commentator's curse. Gotta love it.
I've done it enough to people. It was my time.
Nismo sitting calmly back there in 7th place.
Well, this circuit's configuration is slightly strange in the fact that there are kind of, different offshoots in both directions and stuff like that. You don't see a lot of that in racing. There are some exceptions. The Bikaniki circuit in Latvia, the host of the World Rallycross Championship, among other things, the actual tarmac circuit of that has a massive variety of different layouts. School venue.
Yep. No, it would be good to.
Random fact of the day.
It would be good to go overseas and see other tracks and stuff like that, and what they've got to offer.
Oh, absolutely. There are some cracking circuits hidden away that aren't really up to scratch for major European or international racing. But if you want to laugh after you're done watching this race, take a look at some onboard footage from the Avanisto circuit in Finland. Figure 8 layout. It's very hilly, lots of crests and the like. It's quite the facility.
Yeah, I haven't been one that was able to travel overseas to different racetracks. Obviously, I haven't been to I've been to New Zealand, but I went to the Highlands Motorsport track over there, so that was
Love to go there.
yeah.
That's my favourite track in NZ. Best track I've probably been to in Europe on balance is Mugello.
Yep.
Principally because it's got more to it in the surrounding area than a lot of tracks. It's a nice rural, hilly area. Beautiful old villages in and around the circuit.
Yeah. So I drove a Radical around there. And it was
Virtually.
hey.
Virtually, I assume.
No. It's actually I've driven an actual radical car around.
Oh, you're talking about Highlands.
Oh, Highlands, yeah. Sorry.
Yes, sorry.
No.
The context of
My-
it
yeah,
sounded like
that-
Mugello.
No, I've actually never raced anything around Mugello on a game, but it'd be nice to go around to different tracks in the world. But so Slayer was the SR3. Yeah. But Slayer was just
syringe.
I think so.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah. They're gas. I think it's gas actuated gearing or something like that, or however they do it. But it's not too bad. But getting back to the action, get a bit distracted there. It's a bit odd having myself in the combox. I did it for Bathurst around the Cup. Woodsy hasn't really put much time on Punts here, so Punts has started to really get his head around this TS50 around this track. So as it stands, the number one will still be out in front because he's a minute 13 behind. Sorry, not the number one, the number 32. I don't know why I keep saying the number one.
It's an N-Spud car. All of N-Spud's cars tend to be
Yeah, they tend to be the number one. Not next year though, so unfortunately. He's lost the number one for the Porsches. He kept it for the formulas, but at the moment, as it sits in the touring cars, it looks like he's gonna move that as well.
Even the mightiest of potatoes will one day be peeled.
Yeah, definitely. We've got the.
Imagine that Woodsy isn't far away from having some fairly high-speed traffic in the form of Slayer.
Yeah, he did. He passed him down the back straight. So Slayer made his life a little bit hard, but Slayer ran a little bit wide coming out to the bridge. Luckily, he didn't get any damage, so that was fine. Racing currently putting a lot of time on Duran there, so he's really making the most of that low fuel in the Aston. So I'd be curious to see what his quickest lap is, because it's not really showing. But Isaac is putting a form here in third place.
How's Brandoza doing at the moment? Because he might be under threat from Broccolilli if he has to pit again.
I don't think he'll pit again. He's just under 3/4 of a tank.
Oh, he'll be fine, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Broccolilli's got half a tank. So
he'll be fine if he's clever. But judging on his pace, he is pushing quite hard.
Yeah, he's not really fuel saving probably as much as what I would, but that's probably why I'm in the GT car. But yeah, he's on a personal best at the moment, so he's just gone blue there.
No, he is setting his best laps of the race, certainly. I can see that from my vantage point. He's made up about 8 seconds on me. since I came out of the pit. If he's on half a tank with 26 and 38 to go, that thing's going to be running on fumes in the final 5.
Yeah, he's just clocked over half a tank with 26 and a half to go. So it's going to be very, very close. I think he definitely might want to think about doing a bit of fuel saving come to the end. Otherwise, he will not make the end of this half an hour left to go. But where does this put Brandosa?
In terms of the overall, he'll be well clear of Sir Slayer. That would move him up to 6th, and potentially with Broccolilli be up to 5th place as well, because he was only 20 seconds, or that car was only 20 seconds behind the Broccolilli entry coming into this race.
Did you were in the Broccolilli car, weren't you?
Correct. So I was about 23, 24 seconds clear of
27. 27 seconds.
27. There you go.
But at the rate it stays, Broccolilli's going to have to pit again. So I think that may put that car into contention there. But that also drops the 96 out of play. And where does this put you? So you're in for Laudy at the moment. Okay, so you're currently ahead, because I do think that Brando was actually a lap down. So Brando, yeah. So Copite got lapped in the last race. So I think where you stay, you're currently ahead of him.
I expect so, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just glad I don't have to do any of these results. I'll leave that up to Jarman to do. But we'll go back to the front here. We've got 24 minutes remaining in this 4-hour St. Croix C round 6 of the Trackstars Enduro series. Currently in the lead is the number 16 in the CP Motorsports with Diswood behind the wheel, but he's trying to make up as much time as he can from Punts here, because Punts in the 32 was actually a minute and 42 behind. Sorry, a minute and 42 in front of the 16. So he's currently got, if he loses 30 seconds, then that'll really come into play between the 16 and the 32. But if it stays how it is, the number 32 of Punts and Spud will take the Royal Honours, as Sir Slayer gets a bit of engine damage here. He's got it before the last corner, second last corner, so he must have got it at the end of the straight. Which is a bit unfortunate, but he might chuck a new set of racing hard tyres on and maybe top up a little bit of fuel and then send it to the end. But what about Broccolilli? I wonder how he's going to go for fuel in regards to the end. He's currently short shifting now, so I think he's realised that he's not going to make it to the end. He's coming up into the back of Budsy.
He won't have to fill, obviously, terribly much. He does have 28 seconds over me. I think Brandosa is probably the more important article for him.
Yeah, but the fuel loss here is the pit loss here is pretty considerate at the moment. It's about 30-35 seconds. So yeah, but starting to come up here. Budsy is actually not doing too bad. He's currently sitting that'll be 5th in class at the moment, but Roses does have a bit of front aero damage. So I wonder if he's going to pit in his lap to go and fix that. If not, it'll be a bit of a... Oh, Broccolilli, what are you doing there, mate? Yep, so Roses has come into pit now, so that'll escalate. That'll elevate Budsy up into 4th in class.
What did Broccolilli do?
He tried to go around the outside of the last corner on Roses. Budsy's put in a pretty solid job here, considering he doesn't really drive the Aston very much. But Blue Bloss has actually almost overtaken Roses. He has overtaken Roses, so that little mistake there has actually dropped Roses to the back of Blue Bloss. But I do believe that car was considerable amount down on the field. Oh no, he was 2 seconds.
Replay me if you want to see a crash.
Nice. Nice.
I just got a bit spooked by everyone coming out the pits.
Yeah.
All that.
A bit unfortunate there, but
Some rear end damage.
Brocco's still in front of you. That's surprising. Oh, did you jump in the pits too? No. Oh, Brocco hasn't pit yet. No, Brocco hasn't pit yet.
No.
Yeah.
No, it was the GT guys kind of all over each other, and Roses coming out the pits. It all kind of puts me up a bit.
Yep. So It's Racing is currently pit in. He's topped up a fuel, so he should be ready to go to the end. He's 6.6 in front of Duran at the moment. So. But he was over 30 seconds down on me, so. So Diswood actually has gone fastest of the session and fastest of the event as well. So Captain Risky put in a 2 minutes 55.463 and Woodsy's done a 2:55.3. So he's fastest overall in the number 16. So he's only at about 1:16 in front of Punts there, but I think it's going to be a very tight running here for us to try and make that gap back to the number 32. But they're starting to come up on a little bit of lap traffic here. We've got a Nismo and we've got a Wiseacre. So Punts will then have to navigate both of them coming around the later stages of this. Nismo runs a little bit wide there. This is a really hairy section of the track. Nice work there by all drivers there. Really let Punts through because they knew. Good job on replay. Yeah, nice job there by those drivers to jump out of the way there. As you see, Mr. Adam jump into the pits.
Yeah, car was handling poorly enough that I think I saved time by pitting.
Now you can go for that preliminative 2:58. Brocco's got.
I don't think I will, to be honest, because I've got far too much fuel in the car.
Yeah. Brocco's got.
I overfilled it.
Just over a quarter of a tank.
I think he's slightly underfilled it. If we could find a happy medium between our two fuel amounts.
Yeah. We'll jump back to GT class. So we've got It's Racing out in front, 7.8 seconds. So he's definitely pulling away from that CP Porsche. So as it stays at the moment, I think that number 95 is definitely on track. Oh, he gets really squirrely there out of turn 2. Yeah, the 95 is on track for the class win and the title of the Enduro Series. So it's been a very solid showing from the 95 all season in the Aston Martin. Although I did really cause the Aston havoc at Fuji in the BMW. So I made a bit of an error in my strategy at Fuji, and I kind of screwed myself over. But then, yeah, I did cause a bit of havoc for Justin there. But it's kept on. How's it going? But nice showing here from Duran. 329s, 330s. A little bit more lap traffic.
You know what? I genuinely don't think I've seen Duran on circuit once in this 2 hours.
Where are you? You're there. Duran is coming to the S-bends, so you're about half a lap behind him.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen
in front
it
of
at
him.
any point.
Yeah.
Might have done very early on, but certainly not for the last hour or so. Amazing prototypes, being as they're so light to begin with. Just how much they come alive once the fuel starts to come off.
Yeah. This would push that out to a minute 17, so it's definitely going to be very interesting come the end of this. They're on exactly the same amount of fuel and tyre wear, so it's going to be a very interesting ending to this, as they unfortunately lapped the number 19 in Bite the Rosa, so unfortunately there. Budsy's putting in a pretty solid performance there, 4th in class. As we all know that Budsy isn't exactly one of the fastest drivers in Trackstars. He does put in a very solid performance, and he is very consistent. So he's started to make his ways in the TS2 series at the moment. So doing well for the Toll Mash Spuds racing team.
That's a good thing. I mean, you learn a lot more as a developing driver racing in a league against kind of the same cast of characters, rather than doing dailies or FIAs and, you know, not knowing who you're going to come up against. I think it really helps your own personal development if you kind of know what's going on around you. You know, you get to know the drivers and their characteristics.
Yeah, definitely.
As you'd focus on your own performance.
Well, you've probably noticed that from commentating, just obviously main series from the start of the season, on where different drivers are in the season, on how they're going.
Absolutely. In the almost 2 years that I've been kind of around Trackstars, I've seen a lot of drivers who would have been kind of tail end of main series who have developed exceedingly well.
Yep. He's racing on a PB here at the moment. He's comfortably 10 seconds in front of Duran. Really solid showing there. He's constant 327, so he's done a really nice showing there at the Aston. It's a very weird one to tune, and obviously the likes of the different GT cars, you've got MR cars and then you've got FR cars, on what you can kind of time you can extract from each car and how each one handles.
Very different beasts, certainly.
A little bit too hot under the brakes there, It's Racing, my friend, but you get them on the big jobs. Let's probably going with this fuel situation. He's got just under a quarter, so it looks like he's
Okay.
he'll be okay. So the saving that he's done is gonna get him to the end here. But Brando is currently 22.9 in front, so he's gonna kind of really need to stretch that.
That will mean that on paper at the moment then, 5 seconds between them in terms of the 4 hour in favour of Broccolilli.
Brandos is really doing something weird here. He's like pushing a GT car along.
An EBM GT car?
No, an ISAR GT car.
Have any answers? Any questions?
I have a lot of questions.
Fuel?
He's good for fuel. I'm very concerned of what was happening there, but it can be a question that we ask later. But he's moved that gap down to 20.9 seconds, so I don't know if he knows he needs a 27-second gap. Looks like he's saving some sort of fuel here too. So.
You'd have more in the tank than Rocco.
Oh, Blue Boss really. Oh, Blue Boss was lucky not to get damage here. Gets a little bit too hot under the gas. Almost puts it in all. Nice save there from Blue Boss in the EBM RSR Corvette.
I feel a bit less bad about driving two completely different cars, knowing that EBM and RSR have a shared GT.
Yeah, they struggled to field two different cars, so they just decided to combine the two together. Because we did have a guy named Bozza actually driving that to begin with at the start of the season, but obviously something happened with Bozza, so then obviously he's not driving anymore. So then now they've got a whole new driver lineup for tonight. So
Yeah.
but it's good seeing all the new drivers come into the track stars.
No, it's interesting. I mean, for me, obviously, I kind of have a foot out the door during the racing season. And when I kind of get a bit more involved coming into my winter or summer, it's often kind of a whole new cast of drivers along with our established names. It'll be interesting to see how that ebbs and flows.
Definitely. We've now gone under 10 minutes remaining in this, so drivers are looking at roughly 3 laps, I'd say.
Laps, yeah, 3 laps.
3 laps to go, so we've got Woodsy out in front with a minute 22 gap over point, so he needs 20 seconds. I don't know if he'll be able to pull 20 seconds in 3 laps, unless obviously something happens to another car, but he's putting in a very solid performance here, Woodsy is, so he's done a really nice drive there. And then we got Pointy in second place, EBM Brandosa in third, Broccolilli in fourth, who's just overtaken Duran 50 on down on the back straight. Then Adam himself in fifth, who's done a 2:59.5, so it's his new fastest lap. And then Cersei in sixth place, driving with Devlin Calypso. And then Nismo down in seventh, and then we go to the GT class, eighth outright. First in class is 95 of Hits Racing. Second is Duran 50, driving for CP, and then really nicely advertised snow all on the grass there, mate. That's not what you really want going around that second last corner. You get on the grass, it's really hard to get back on track because it's off camber. And then SDRT Wiseacre down there in 10th place and third outright in class. Budsy in fourth in class and 11th outright, so he's solid drive there from Budsy with the fastest lap. 2 laps ago with a 3:30.0, so he's put in a solid performance there from Budsy, and it's good to see how far he's actually come from the start. So, and then Blue Boss down there in 12th, and TTB by the Roses, who looks like he's come out of the pits a couple of laps ago because he's got new boots on. He's got he's got half a tank of fuel. So I think he's overfilled that one.
Think about that being overcautious, eh?
Gabans does the same thing. He's very
Europeans then.
Yeah, I was going to say Europeans because he's very cautious. Oh, Adam does he's done a 2:58.
Yay, I'm only 3.5 seconds slower than Diswood. But I'll take it around a 3-minute lap, to be honest. In a car that probably has another 2.5 seconds to get out of it tuning-wise. I shouldn't knock it actually, it's not too bad from a balance perspective, it just needs more top end.
Yeah.
Some refinement, whatever I did to it made it better than it would have been on stock anyway, so
Yeah.
I consider that a win. Be intriguing to see. Slayer back in. Be intriguing to see in GT7 whether or not we have any of the new hypercars in Gran Turismo from the current era of Le Mans. One would suspect, given every other new Toyota appears in the game immediately, one would expect that the GR010 replacement for this TS050 will be game.
And as we say that, I jump into the Discord and we've got fellow commentator and Spud here. If he's on the microphone.
Yes, I'm here. I'm just completing my final lap here, so I'm just doing a nice little cool down lap in my Ferrari 74, SRBL Racing. Currently 7th in overall, but Nightwalker 964 has won the overall. For WRT Motorsport, driving alongside Cyric in number 964, and then Dynamite 296 alongside KD 1997 in second place, and then Ridwan looks like he's just about to round up the podium with the Project One Racing team, Aston Martin.
Nice job there, but we've got 3:47 to go, so it looks like they'll get another 2 laps in. But it's very close here between the car of yourself and the CP car.
Did Broccoli pit? Because he's lost 20 seconds.
No, it looks like he might have spun. He's done a 3:18.
That's a shame. If I hadn't launched it into the barriers.
Yeah, so
what is the gap between us and CP Motorsport? What time did they finish their race?
a minute 42 behind you, and it's currently a minute 23.
Sweet.
So
Barring all mistakes.
Fingers crossed. It happened. It keeps going, and no mistakes happen. You guys should have the race all locked up and done.
No barring mistakes there, and just keeps it clean, keeps his nose clean for the next, I'd say, lap. He's only got one more lap to go, so hopefully for him just a nice little wind down lap, cool down lap for a guy that started the race back in Monza back in March, and came out flying out of the gates. Unfortunately, he had one lap to go. He had a disconnect, and then he had, we can all remember Monza. I think Adam can remember Monza, how it was hyper performance, like internet lag connections. So
yes,
it was a pretty wild night, that's for sure. And then he stepped up for the last 30 minutes, and he did a stellar job. So I thought, fittingly, why not? He can do the last round for the hypercar, for the prototype class here at Trackstars Endurance Racing. And yeah, what a way for him to actually finally, for himself, to actually win a championship where he thoroughly deserves. at least want something out of his 2 seasons at Mash Buds Racing.
Certainly, in the first element of the season, I was very impressed by Puntz's fuel-saving ability. He seemed to be able to get a lot out of this TS050.
Yeah, well, we've worked very hard over the practice sessions, just trying to understand the car and understand how much battery we can save during the race. But we found a good tune, and he's doing all right. So he did come over the radio, said he had a bit of an incident, hit a full 360, copped engine damage towards the end of the lap. So luckily for him, it was damage limitation on that.
Yeah, it was the second last corner. He put one wheel in, and I think he understeered a little bit, and then chucked it in the wall. But it was lucky that it was the second last corner, so he could just dip in the pits and play around with the pit stops there. But yeah, he's going pretty well so far. So Woodsy's currently at 1:23, and he's going to cross the line very shortly with 36 seconds to go. So he'll put in another lap. And then Puntz in second place.
It'll actually be Porsche's first race victory with these guys. Oh, is
Woodsy in? Woodsy in?
Oh, one more lap. He was just one short. He misjudged his calculations wrong there. Probably could have just put it in 6th gear on the back straight and just drive it at 40 kilometers an hour just to actually make it on time. But hey ho, keep your laps up, and happy days for him. We'll see Puntz coming down what myself, DJ, and Puntz like to call the long neck straight, in reference of the long neck beer bottles in Australia. But we see It's Racing and the 95 coming across the start finish line. They have won they come first in class, and they have won the GT Endurance Cup that belongs to the 95 in It's Racing Esports camp. So well done to those guys. Awesome commitment for those guys, and thoroughly deserved championship victory. But now we see Puntz coming around those last couple of corners in the prototype class, leading around, coming home in 2nd place. But enough for the number 32 Mash Buds Racing TS050, coming towards the final corner here at St. Croix for the final time onto the last corner. And it is a 2nd place for Puntz, but it is most importantly the championship for the 32 Mash Buds Racing coming across the line. Puntz takes 2nd place and the championship for Mash Buds Racing.
Very solid, very nice drive there. But Mr. Adam Weller has crossed the line as well. We've got It's Racing there, and Jerem has crossed the line as well, taking second in class and 9th outright in the CP Porsche. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the It's Racing Aston. He just had that thing tuned very perfectly and worked out really well. But
fucking yes, get in there. Fuck yeah. That is what.
Well, it's after the watershed in Australia.
Yes.
No, I from
We'll just turn Spud down a little bit. Big congratulations there to the number 32 in Puntz and Spud. Champions there as Woodsy slowly rounding out the lap. He obviously, unfortunately, couldn't get another lap in. Couldn't get another lap in with the amount of fuel that he had. Diswood coming across the line, taking 1st place, outright winner in the 4-hour St. Croix Part 2 race here. Unfortunately, he couldn't get the overall win, but it was a very nice drive there by all parties concerned. It's a really nice drive there. So
Thoroughly deserved for the CP Motorsport boys. Fully deserved it in that section. I was watching it long as well whilst I was doing my own race. So I finished 7th in my class, which isn't too bad. But what can you do? You know, you're just going cruising around in a Ferrari that's just tail happy and all of that. So you do what you can, you do the best you can do.
yeah, it looked like the Ferrari wasn't exactly the best to get around here, unfortunately.
Yeah, what happened? Look, what happened to Viper and Jono? Did they just get disconnects, or they just kind of, or they're just getting too many incidents?
Formula 2 came on.
Yeah.
I messaged Viper and I just go, oh, what happened, this and that, and he goes, oh, I forgot the Formula 2 was on, so I left. But it was a bit rough because unfortunately, obviously, Norm did put it, leave him a little bit of a almost impossible task to try and get it in front of the 95. But obviously, Norm hasn't raced these for a while. But yeah, it was done well to all parties concerned. It was a very long 4 hours and a very long enduro season. So we've all got we've all got one race to go in the season at the moment. But as we get to that, we do have It's Racing jumped in. So a big congratulations to yourself, my friend, in the 95.
Thanks. Glad to finally join in with some other humans on the stream rather than doing it by myself.
Yeah, it was
I should have hooked myself up for the first bit as well.
Yeah, that would have been quite helpful, actually. I remember Laguna, you were basically pointing out all the incidents that were happening, so
well,
might have needed another spotter.
To be fair, I was very, very alone in the first race, so I'm not sure how much I'd have been helpful. But yeah, great drive. We came across the line together, my friend. I think I just beat you to be the first one to take the flag.
Yeah, it was very close. I thought I was nearly going to steal another lap, but it just missed out. Luckily, I did have enough fuel for that, so somewhat good planning.
Yeah, exactly. No, but but you are the champion of the GT class in the multi-class championship here at Trackstars. But so well deserved. I think that is your 3rd victory of the season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's been a big season. Obviously, the first two races partnering alongside Justin 930, and then yourself and DJ for the final race for the final couple of rounds. So it's been a bit of a up and down, I guess, for you for finding drivers, but luckily you were in safe hands with DJ on that final one.
Yeah, of course. Can't forget all the effort that Justin put in the first few rounds, and obviously at Le Mans. And I mean, we're a bit disappointed not to get the win there. I think we missed out on a 5-second penalty or something like that. So, but I guess what goes around comes around. I think I've been the benefactor of a few 5-second penalties myself. So, I mean, we'll just deal with it, and we still managed to get the points, and we were lucky enough to get the win tonight as well. And of course, thanks for DJ for coming on board in the last couple of rounds. He's done basically everything I wanted from him.
Yeah, it's light work. I just get in the car and drive. I kind of help with the setup and stuff like that. But no, it's pretty good. It's a quick car, and had to wrap my head around it after Le Mans, obviously, in the Beamer. But no, it's been a good end to the season, and taking the win, it's been pretty solid. But I did have a bit of an up and down race this race. Unfortunately, the grass had second things to say, but well, you get them.
Yeah,
that's
certainly
right.
happens, and it was a lot of fun.
And I guess for yourself, DJ, obviously being in the 24 Pit Lane Esports BMW for the first few rounds before you got the call up to join in for It's Racing for the final two. So what were the challenges from going from BMW to Aston? What did you see? Obviously, you saw a lot of comparisons in between strengths, weaknesses in those cars.
Obviously the main considerable thing would be the turbo. The turbo in the Beamer was just it was nutty. Like, if you get that thing to, like, Monza was really bad for it, to be honest. Like, going around Ascari, I think it was, like, you'd get on the gas and you'd have to be in a really low gear so the turbo wouldn't spool up on you and spin you around. But I think I actually caused a bit of havoc to Justin at Fuji, so I really had the Beamer ripped up at Fuji there. But Le Mans was a bit rusty as well, because obviously Brocco jumped in the car and he was a bit rusty too. But no, it's kind of a much of a muchness. Obviously, being the FR, it wasn't really much to get my head around because I've always raced mainly FRs. But the main thing would probably be the turbo, and obviously going from the V8 to the V12. The Aston is so thirsty on fuel. Like, that thing is absolutely phenomenal on fuel. That thing is crazy.
Yeah, and I remember when I did the stint for you guys in the Laguna Seca one. That was a very hectic race for us. It was really good for us to, at least, well, me driving in a stock tune, but the car, yeah, it kind of does lag a bit of turbo, has that turbo lag in it rather. So that's something you always have to be very mindful of when it comes to that.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you do have the turbo lag there, but at the end of the day, it does handle really nice if you can get it kind of ripped up and grippy. Like, Fuji was really nice. Laguna, I had it pretty solid.
Look at Woodsy here. He thinks he's winning he's already won the championship for touring cars, and that's why he's doing donuts with me. Mate, you don't get ahead of yourself. We've got one more week to go, my friend. So big races coming up for the touring cars championship. I'm guessing you would have announced that during the stream, but one more race to go. It's been a long season since the 14th of February, all the way up to finally the 19th of December. So it's been an awesome season, awesome year. It's been a long one, boys. So, but hopefully, obviously, we get to crown another championship next week.
Question is, if he does throw it away in the last round, does he make himself a struggle card?
Well, I think DJ's got to get a crack on that.
Oh, nah, I don't make the trap cards, mate. That's that's a Woodsy thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but it's been a very awesome season, this one, the endurance series. It's been challenging, of course, obviously, but I think it's been I would say probably one of our most popular ones compared to the others that we've actually been hosting, like Porsche Cup or Formulas or touring cars. I think besides the TS2 and the TS3, I think this one has just been the stepping stone for attracting drivers into the category, into the championship, and yeah, seeing big numbers in our community.
I commend the fact that the Endurance Series has arrived in Trackstars. Obviously, the format largely similar to the core World Endurance Championship that myself and It's Racing raced in a good many years ago. That's when I first started commentating on anything back in the core days, and it's been very nostalgic, verging on deja vu, having these Endurance Series races going on. Both randomly jumping into cars at 5 minutes notice and occasionally commentating on them as well. It's been a great season. Obviously, always with the Trackstars series, the cars are incredibly well turned out. The liveries are on point. The driving standards are great. I think certainly in terms of a debut season for a new category, that's about as good as it gets.
That's all good, man.
Yeah,
It's definitely been everything I hoped for and even more from it. Like, at the start of the season, I was going, well, I'm happy that we've got a full lobby between everyone, and then come Le Mans, we basically nearly had enough to fill a second lobby even, and it's just carried on through the rest of the year. So hopefully it's a sign of good things to come for next year as well.
Yeah, it's from what it started. Obviously, I only joined in obviously early this year, and from what it was like when I started to what it is now, like we were kind of struggling for drivers in like the main split for the enduro, but then now we're you're filling two lobbies and
cough yourself.
Yeah, cough myself, but yeah, no. Other than that, it's good to see how like big track stars have started to get, like with obviously people joining in and coming and going and stuff like that. But no, it's been good, and having the different obviously categories of cars, obviously the touring cars, the formulas, and now the endurance series. It kind of gives that different range of things to do.
I guess in a way that's another debuting Mash Spuds title that's coming to Mash Spuds Racing. So hopefully for next year we get to do it all over again on GT7, and hopefully, like I heard you say, Adam, we hope to get the new cars coming in. And I think, hey, why not? Like those new cars I've seen are really awesome. So I definitely want to see the hypercar era come to GT7 within its release date.
And watch out for a Ford GT.
Ah, that's right. Absolutely. Finally, we get to use the modern Ford GT, so that'll be one for drivers to pick up. So why not?
I think GT7 was it's going to bring throw a lot of spanners in the works.
Absolutely. So I guess we'll wrap this up tonight saying thanks for everyone for joining in here at the Trackstars Racing Series Endurance Championship. Thank you so much for being a part of it for the 6 rounds that have been coming towards you here on YouTube. Obviously, a big congrats to the Jarman and It's Racing and DJSX Pointed, as well as the honourable mentions Justin 930 and Morgan Davey, who was the 3rd driver in the Le Mans Championship, in the Le Mans race. So big ups to those guys for bringing home the title for It's Racing Esports in the GT class.
And on that note, my friends, ladies, gentlemen, and stuff like that, we keep getting spammed by this dumb spam bot. Thank you to everyone for joining, watching, and thank you, Adam, for racing and commentating with my lonely self for this split.
Until then, boys, we catch you all next week for the finale of the Elite Brake Mechanical Trackstars Touring Car Championship, where we go enduro racing for the MB Glass 1500. So big event coming on Sunday morning, kicking off at 9:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Time. But until then, we will catch you guys very soon.